Welcome to the Coffee with Closer show, where we interview real investors that are doing real deals in this current market about how they are finding, funding, and flipping the deals. We talk about what they are doing that is working and the things they did that didn't work so that you can save time and money as you become a real investor. Welcome to the Coffee with Closer show. Hey guys, welcome back to another show with Coffee with Closers. I got my good friend Wyatt here. A little coffee action going on, talking about deals. Here's the good thing about this show, Wyatt. This is about real deals. This is about people doing deals. That's why it's called Coffee with Closers. And Wyatt, you're a closer now.
I'm a closer now.
You are crazy, a closer now, baby. So guys, I hope you're going to enjoy this show. We're going to dig into a recent deal that Wyatt just did that you guys are going to want to hear. It was your first deal, correct?
First deal.
First deal. And you got another deal.
I've got 3 deals going right now.
3 deals going right now. So we're going to dig into that. Got lots of great questions for him. Hang tight, sit there, watch what this is all about because I'm going to dig in. All right, Wyatt, let's get real. Let's get real, man. Let's get real, right? Let's talk about your money, okay? Not what you got, but what you're going to make. So when we talk about Coffee with Closers, the whole purpose of this show is to not talk about what people did years ago, right? Like we're all done hearing that stuff, right? Like we know the fakes from the reals out there, and that's what this show's about. This show's about pulling real people to the table and saying, okay, look, let's talk about your wins, your losses. Let's talk about what you did right, what you did wrong in the deal, right? Just so that everybody can kind of get an idea who you are. Tell them a little bit about, we're going to walk down a little journey for a few minutes. Tell them a little bit about, who you are, where you came from, and what was the moment that you said, I need to be thinking about something different, and real estate came up. So who are you? Where were you from? And what made that moment happen?
So yeah, all my life that I've wanted to be an engineer, and that's what I've grown up to be.
An engineer,
a manufacturing engineer. So I'm all about processes and cost savings, right?
Systems, processes,
that's it.
Pinch the penny.
That's it. So in 2018, December, I sat down and I decided, hey, I'm going to write my New Year's resolution goals. And I've never wrote them before in my life. I always knew what I wanted, but never really, done just like everybody. Went to the gym three months and then stopped, right?
What are you saying? Huh?
So, I decided I wanted to do real estate.
Yeah.
I knew that I didn't want to work the rest of my life for somebody else and, take orders.
Right.
So, I went out like every great starter does and burned through some agents.
Yeah.
And we went and looked at a lot of houses.
Hold on a second. Okay, there you go. You burned through the agents because of why?
I went out to look at houses and I didn't have my team set up.
You weren't prepared.
I was not prepared.
And you know what's so funny is that's what 95% of new investors do.
Absolutely.
They just let's go look at houses. That's what somebody told me to do.
And that's what we did for about 3 months.
Yeah.
So fast forward 3 months and we get invited to a Tennessee RIA. Mm-hmm. When we got there, we met this little lady who gave me a card and said that you need to come to the Madison County RIA and check out Zack. And right? So we did, and we really enjoyed everything that went on, and so it's all water under the bridge.
How long ago was that when you actually came out and started seeking information?
It was about 6.5 months ago.
Oh man, look at that. 6.5 months ago. And you're already closing deals.
Already.
What would you say that was the driving force behind you in 6.5 months already on your third deal?
Education. Yeah. Once we got the foundation, it was takeoff from there.
It was, wasn't it? And I preach it all the time, right? Like specialized knowledge. But you actually became one of my coaching students.
Yep, that's it.
And which, another successful student in the house. Sorry, I took my own horn there for a minute. But let's just talk about that real quick. I mean, because let's pull a curtain back, right? I mean, most successful people will always contribute their success to having mentors and coaches. Yeah. I do too. My mentors did too, right? And so let's just call that out, okay? So there was a point in your journey where you knew you had to seek information. You wanted real estate. You wanted a better life. But why didn't you just go down the rabbit hole like everybody else and start watching a bunch of YouTube videos?
I did it first.
You did it first?
Yeah, I did it first.
Okay.
So I knew, and jump back several years ago, I kind of got into the whole penny stock kind of thing.
Okay.
And so I listened to one of those millionaire mentors and didn't work out like I planned.
Yeah.
So, being at the RIA and being able to listen to someone in person, talk to that person, text that person, I mean, it was a no-brainer, and it was local. So that's the biggest thing, right? Local, right? Know the market.
But I'm sure it was fearful.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right. I mean, you got a family. You got a kid. You got a wife. I mean, I'm sure they were like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Lauren,
because let's be honest, coaching and mentoring is not cheap.
Yeah. Lauren was, we were both actually pretty nervous about it at first. We sat and we prayed about it for about a month or two.
Yeah. And
talked it over. And, in the end, we both decided, I don't think that we can afford not to do this, Right. To change our lives, and the thought of having our lives changed in 6 months to a year to 2 years down the road,
just it doesn't compare, right? Well, would you say that it worked out for you?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome, man. Well, so let's just make sure everybody, because look, here's why, man. I mean, these Coffee with Closers shows are going to go national. I mean, we're going to have people from California to New York to Minnesota, all over watching this, right? And a majority of them are going to be brand new. And so, you're saying, hey, look, I had the idea. I wanted to get out of the rat race. I wasn't doing what I loved. And, it was time for me to take a jump into real estate. And, but it was fearful. And that's honesty, right? Like, that's honesty. And, you did have a family, but I love what you said. Like, it was an opportunity you couldn't afford not to do, right? And some people have a hard time making that call in their life, right? So, it goes back to the whole kind of philosophy that when the fear of not doing it becomes greater than the fear of sitting there and doing nothing, that's when you do it, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And so that was a moment for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Lauren reads a lot, so she was talking about the Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and so something that she learned out of that was, the poor say, I can't afford that, and the rich and successful say, how can I afford that? So that was kind of our outlook on it.
No, and that's so true. I say that till this day. I was just sitting, have you ever met Randy Gard?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. He's one of my students locally, and we were looking at a pretty big deal with him. And it was so interesting because when we were sitting there, the deal looked good, but there was about a few $100,000 short, and you could see the change in him because he said that. He said, not, I don't have the funds for it, but he was like, I got to figure out how I'm going to get those funds. And I knew instantly, like, this guy's thinking like an investor now, right?
Yeah.
Not, I can't afford it, but man, I got to go find a way to get this deal.
Yeah, and since I've started doing this, I've met, and I've seen that in other people, especially, like the older generation, they're like, you're crazy. You shouldn't be doing this. Put it in the bank, save it.
Right. Hey, but that's the Dave Ramsey method.
That's it.
Nothing against Dave Ramsey. If he's watching this show, I'm happy. I've read his book. I understand his philosophy, but I also think when you're starting out and you're starting you don't have millions, you've got to leverage. You've got to take risk. You've got to put some cojones out there on the table to try to get to that next level. That's not going to happen if you don't take a risk, right?
Absolutely.
But in real estate, it's calculated risk. So, and that's the beauty of that. So I love that your journey only started 6.5 months ago, but you sought the right help and coaching and got you started. So Wyatt, I'm glad that you're here right now. Because that says a lot about your journey in such a short amount of time, right? And so here, the show's about the deals, though, right?
That's it.
We're happy to
hear
about you and your journey, but I'm sure people are like, well, I want to know about his deal. So the deal that you did, tell me about it. What type of deal was it? And I'll lead you through some questions, but right out the gate, what type of deal was it? Was it a flip? Was it a wholesale? What was it?
It was a burr, actually.
A burr. And we all know burr means don't put a jacket on.
That's it.
Buy,
rent, rehab, refinance, repeat.
And repeat that process. And we do the burr method because it allows us to leverage, right? And the key for growth in our world is leverage. And so you went out and you said, hey, look, well, let's back up for a minute. Why did you decide burr? Why did you decide to do the burr?
Well, for me, it was I wanted to replace my income at work so that I can eventually one day quit.
Which is cash flow.
Absolutely.
But why burr, though? Instead of just going out, finding a house, getting a loan, putting 20% down. Why did you choose burr, though?
So I could leverage other people's money and refinance.
Okay, so that's where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Okay, because you didn't come into this game with hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting around in the bank account.
Man, I come in with almost nothing.
Right. You came in with, just like I came in. When I came in, man, I was lucky to buy a cup of coffee in the morning.
Right. A lot of debt, though. A lot of debt.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, trust me. Yes, I'm with you. But I always say it like this, man. If it wasn't for that debt, I wouldn't have had the drive to go forward.
Yeah.
Right? Because I wasn't going to be like, okay, well, I guess I'll just have to pay for that debt now. No, I was like, listen, I'm going to do something.
Got to.
So you came in, you had some debt, you didn't have a lot of money, so you had to do a burr method, right? Mm-hmm. So just to help everybody understand why you had to do a burr method was because you needed to be able to borrow money from other people to buy it, mm-hmm. and you needed to get that deal cashed out to get them paid off.
Absolutely.
Because they were higher interest.
Yep.
And it wouldn't have made sense to hold it with their money. Am I correct?
Correct.
All right, awesome. All right, well then, so now we understand why you did the burr. And most people understand that. Look, if you're watching this and you're like, I want to know more about the burr, man, we got all kinds of videos on our YouTube channel. You can go watch those. It breaks down the burr method, or you can watch them from anybody's YouTube channel for that matter. So let's talk about how you got the deal, though. All right. So now you're out there. You know your strategy. You're moving forward. You're in a point where you're like, I got to go put a deal together. You got somebody riding your rear end like a coach.
For sure.
Where did the deal we're going to talk about, how did you find it? Where did it come from?
So it actually came from a wholesaler.
Came from a wholesaler. Okay. Just somebody you knew or somebody you didn't know, or how did you connect with that wholesaler?
It's a lot of network, a lot of Facebook, a lot of, just meeting with people at the RIA. And that is my biggest lead generator is network. It has been.
Just getting out there, shaking hands, kissing babies.
That's it.
Politician.
I have a full-time job, so I got to figure out a way to have deals coming to me rather than me running out every day.
Right.
So.
Okay, well, since we're talking about that, since you got this from a wholesaler, give me 3 things that you're doing to create lead gen into your business. So you said wholesalers. Mm-hmm. What else are you doing?
So we are driving for dollars as well. We got the deal machine. And,
you got the deal machine?
That's been pretty awesome.
You know, it's so funny that you say that because we were interviewing someone else who used to use the deal machine, and they said they stopped because they found that their handwritten letters worked better. And I said to him, that's funny because you can talk to somebody else who's using it and they're like, man, I'm getting leads off of it.
Yeah, it's awesome because you can take a picture of the house. Hey, have you seen this thing in a while? Yeah. Take a picture of you and your family, send it to them. The letter's already written and everything. So.
That's awesome. So you've got wholesalers, you got driving for dollars using an automation tool. What's another one that you're doing?
So I don't want to give her a big head, but I have a rock star agent who works with investors, and she's brought me some great deals.
Just digging up deals.
She's a rock star.
And you know what? That's so funny. I'm going to lean in on that for a minute, okay? Is that not all agents are the right agent for an investor.
Yeah, I learned that.
Let's be real clear on that, right? Is because some agents they don't have the understanding or the mindset or, that we want the worst house in the neighborhood and we're not going to pay retail for it. And they better have thick skin because our offers are low in a lot of cases. Yeah. But those special agents that understand that, they're not sitting around waiting on somebody to call them up for a listing. They're out there networking, digging, looking, talking. They're looking. And not all agents do that.
Absolutely.
I mean, I would have to say most agents probably don't do a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, I had one when I first started send me several properties, $120,000, $130,000 houses renting for $700 or $800, and she's like, "Hey, these are great deals, won't last long."
And that's when you say
All
this.
right.
I'm the boss. Look, man, I think that's great. So anybody watching this, sometimes people think, and this is the other side of this thing, man. Sometimes people think when they get into this business, they got to run out and do these massive marketing campaigns and spend thousands and thousands of dollars when they're first starting to get leads. And that's just not true. It's not, right? I mean, you can start with free sources. You can start with networking. You can start with finding a rock star agent. You can start with doing driving for dollars. I mean, there's success to be had in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one other one, I know I only said 3, but you said it earlier, and that's networking. Mm-hmm. You do a lot of networking.
All the time.
You got your own little squad going now.
Yeah, I do, actually.
I think I'm going to probably end up interviewing the whole squad.
They're great people. That's why I got them in the squad.
I like how you own that.
Don't tell them I said that.
They're going to watch it. Hey, look, all squads all have good possibilities, right? I know you guys posted a picture of you guys out, and I was like, I love this, right? Because I'm personally intertwined with all of you in some way, and I'm just like, look at that, man. I'm like, that's great, All right, so now we know kind of where you're getting your deals from. We know why you did this deal. We know what type of deal it was. Before we get into all the numbers, though, tell me something on this deal that went wrong. Like that you were just like, I learned a valuable lesson because of this.
So,
or is there like many?
No, there is a couple, but the biggest one was that we decided we were going to do the painting. Personally do the painting. We thought that we could get in there and knock it out in a weekend, maybe 2 at the most.
Yeah.
That set us back. It wasted a lot of our weekend time.
Yeah.
A lot of our family time.
And how many times have people around you said, don't do the work yourself?
A lot. A whole lot.
And there's a reason behind that, right?
Because, I had to have it, though.
Right. And sometimes you got to just learn it yourself, right? It's like, when you're a kid, you light a lighter and say, look, and you're like, they stick their finger in it. Well, now they won't do it again.
Yeah.
But there's a lesson to be learned there, right? And it's kind of like when we grow up, our parents tell us not to do things and we go do it anyways. And then when we get older, we tell our kids not to do it. But sometimes we're hard-headed, right? Mm-hmm. But there's a lesson there, right? Like you said, hey, we're going to go paint. And I want to dig into this with you because I know I said it to you, and I'm sure other people said it to you, don't do it. But why did you do it? Did you think you were going to...
Save money,
right? And that's kind of like tripping over dollars to pick up pennies.
It is.
It really is. And so many people do that. Like they just do it because in their mind, they're like, oh, I'm going to save money. But like you said, when you add in time and not just time at the job site, but one very important thing that you said was time away from family. Yeah. Like you can't get that back. You can't get it. You just can't get it. And it's good that you starting so fresh, I should say, or identifying that early, because listen, I meet people that have been doing this business 6, 7, 8, 9 years, and they're still out there doing that. Yeah. They're still the ones out there doing it because they think they're saving, but I'm asking them questions like, but what are you saving? Like, are you saving your relationship? Are you saving your family? Are you saving your valuable time and interest? Are you saving your body? What are you really saving? Well, I'm going to save like $1,000. Are you kidding me right now?
And that was already calculated in,
The paint was.
The paint, the labor, all that was calculated in beforehand. And we thought we would penny pinch a little bit.
So talk me through that. I mean, how did that go? Let's go through that. You and Lauren started painting. Yep. It was fun at first. You got the music cranked up. You guys are like, let's do this. About the second weekend, you're probably like,
I hate this. I won't ever do it again. And I've said it so many times. Lauren hates it because I told her it will never happen again.
yeah.
Ever.
Right.
I won't even think about it. Don't even bring it up. So
Did it put a lot of stress?
yeah, stress on the relationship, having a babysitter because we didn't really want Trip to be in.
So you had to pay money for a babysitter.
Family.
Okay.
But,
Well, that's
but
good.
I
hear you.
But yeah, so
it goes from being really cool to really not cool quickly.
Very quickly.
Real quick.
Yeah, and we didn't have heat or cool air conditioner either.
Oh,
so
and this was not that long ago.
No.
Yeah, so we were 90-degree weather outside.
It was hot.
Why didn't you have air conditioner?
Because I didn't fix it before I started painting. And the funny
This
thing
is
is,
getting even better and better.
the funny thing is, it was only like $130 fix. So
are you kidding me?
Could have been fixed in one day.
Okay, well that is a good lesson, right? So
lessons
lesson learned from that project is I'm not tripping over dollars to pick up pennies anymore. I need to manage the project and not be managed by the project.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, at least you learned that quick. So these other two, you got those outsourced with painters?
I will. Yes. Yes, I will.
I will.
So the other one off Linwood is, it had somebody in it already. So
it was just good to go.
Yeah, it's good to go.
Right.
The one that we just got under contract last night is actually in Tennessee. So we're starting to branch out into Tennessee.
Multiple states now.
That's it. So
we're Fayetteville, Lawrenceburg,
Columbia.
Okay,
Columbia.
I know exactly where that is.
Yep, the Columbia Spring Hill area is booming right now. So
definitely, it's all kind of growing up together.
And it's 30 minutes away from my house,
where you live.
So
so that's
it's nice.
Yeah, that's great. I like that. Good call. Okay, well then now let's talk about something that went right. What was something that you're like, man, if every deal went like this, I'd be happy?
I don't know if you've seen the video, but it was pretty trashed. We had a very good contracting crew come in. We got the dumpster out there, and they had it cleaned up in a day. Yeah. I mean, it was trash. There was nastiness everywhere.
Yeah.
And they just came in a couple of hours and blew it out.
Really?
Pulled the carpets and everything.
Just came in, knocked out, gave you a fresh house to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously you picked your contractors right during that process. So let's go into that a little bit. How did you select them? I mean, did you just pull them off the yellow book, or did someone refer it, or
I'll say what I said last question. Network, man.
Through your network.
Always.
So more of a referral.
Referral.
Somebody else had used them, had good things to say, and so
absolutely.
Which goes back to networking, right?
That's it.
And so many people think that they can just do this business from their bedroom and a laptop. And look, don't get me wrong. I think you could probably find a couple of deals and so forth, but to really build a brand, to build a business, to build, something that has sustainability, you got to get out into your market. You gotta get out there and be known for what you do.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
And that's you've hit home on that. All right, so let's talk about the numbers. So we know what you did a burr on this because you wanted cash flow. You found it through networking and finding a wholesaler. So let's talk about the numbers. What did you end up paying for it?
So it was $55,000.
You paid $55,000 all in?
That's it.
Okay. What was the remodel cost on it?
$6,000. $6,000. Right on the. May have been $100 more.
That's not bad at all, man.
Not bad.
So what do you think the thing's worth?
75 to 80.
75 to 80. Man, so right there you're sitting on almost 20 grand of equity.
Yep.
Increased your net worth. What will it rent for?
900.
Ooh, like that. So we got 900. All right, so now let's talk about some numbers. So you're going to refinance this thing. Mm-hmm. Do you have an idea? Are you going to try to just get the 61 out, or as much of it as possible? Well, let's see. If it appraises for 80, 20% would be 16. That would be 64. So you could get all your 61 back out, and you rightfully so need to.
Yep, absolutely.
So that leaves you 61. Let's just say you tell them, hey, give me my 61 out.
Yep.
What's your debt service on that going to be?
50.
Do we need to pull up a mortgage calculator?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Let's pull up a mortgage calculator real quick.
Actually, I think I got it right here.
You got it written down already?
Yeah. I knew you'd ask me something like that.
See, man, you knew I was coming at this thing. 61 on a refinance at a
Monthly expenses. Is that what you're talking about? The 704.
the debt
31.
service. So you got all your monthly expenses?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
704,
Look at
31.
you with your fancy breakout with a pie chart. Oh my goodness! Look at that.
Yeah, they have an app too.
They got an app for that too, huh? Okay, monthly income 900, monthly expenses, total monthly cash flow $200 a month. Yeah, there you go. Is that including a reserve
Reserves.
inside of that expense?
8% vacancy, 7% reserves, 10%.
Oh man,
property
that's
management.
that's 10% management. Gotcha. Cash on cash return. Can you really calculate a cash on cash return when you've got all your money out?
Infinite, right?
It's infinite. So what would the return then be, Wyatt?
All my money, right?
It'd be on the equity at that point, right?
Yeah.
So if we looked at that at $200 a month, 2 times 12 is $2,400. You got $20,000 of equity in the deal. I mean, that's what is that? Let's say you and this is a house, so if it stabilizes, what was your reserve? Almost 15%.
Yeah.
Is that right?
17.
17%. So if we take 900 times 17%, that puts us at 150 times 12 plus the 2,400. So that really means the property could potentially make you over $4,000 a year. If it's stable, well, it's already fixed up, so there's not, what maintenance are we going to have?
Exactly.
We get a good solid tenant in there for a year, that means our reserve account won't be used. So if we take that divided by what kind of equity you would have left in the deal, 19,000, that's a 22% return on the equity.
That's a good deal.
22%, man. I mean, that's yeah, man, that's shaking the tree, buddy. And it's really an infinite on your money because you don't have any money in it. And that goes back to the whole philosophy, like how to do deals with no money, right? Yep. Like a lot of people are still in denial that this is a reality. Like they think, oh, that's just somebody trying to sell you something. Oh, that's just somebody trying to sell you something. But yeah, they might be trying to sell you something on how to do it, right?
That's how to do it.
But it can be done, right? Yeah. If you buy the right deals and you put the things together the right way. And that's ultimately what it breaks down to. I like this, man. So you're building your net worth. You've got one coming in. You're making $2,400 of net a year off of with another $2,000 in reserves. So let's talk about these other two deals. What's the potential on those two?
So the one off Linwood is about the same. It's about $150 to $200 cash flow.
Okay.
I took out about $4,000 extra for rehab, but haven't really used it yet.
Really?
So she's been living in it for forever. She loves it. I'm happy. She pays on time.
Not a big problem.
We're good.
So you got two properties paying cash flow to you.
Mm-hmm. And then the one in Columbia that we just got under contract. Yep. I'm almost convinced that as it sits, it's the purchase is around 83, I think.
You mean the estimated value of it's about 83,000?
No. So my purchase is
you mean your purchase price?
Purchase price
is 8,300?
87,000.
So you're going to buy it for 87,000.
Yep.
I got you.
And I'm almost convinced that it would appraise right now as is for 120.
Really?
Yep.
And so if you fix it, what's it going to take to get it rent ready? Is this a flip?
No,
or
this
is this a rental?
This is a rental.
Is it a single family?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving up, aren't you, man?
Yeah. So it's
what will it rent for?
$1,300.
$1,300. So it probably is going to be worth somewhere around $130, $140 fixed up.
So I walked through it and it's rent ready right now.
Is it really?
There's somebody renting it right now.
They're living in it.
They're living in it. So.
Nothing major?
Nothing that I could find.
Not like some of the other houses we've seen.
Yeah, it's a difference. It's a big difference for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. When you get into that $100,000 range rental properties, it's always different. Mm-hmm. They're a little. Sometimes they're not as old as some of the other ones. It's great, man. So if you get it for 80 something, debt service and all that's probably going to be what? You got your numbers on that one
I
already?
do not have them.
Yeah, see,
with
you didn't
me.
know I was going to dig into that one too, did you?
Yeah.
I like it, man. You're just making moves, man. So that takes me to my next question. What's Wyatt's goals over the next 12 months?
So we have
2020, what's your goal?
we have great momentum right now,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you that when I did sit down and write those goals in 2018,
Yeah.
it was to do 2 deals,
And
not
you're
knowing
already on-
anything about real estate.
For 2019. And you're already on 3.
So we have great momentum going, and we want to keep it, obviously.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to try to at least do a deal or 2 every month and a half to a month.
Every month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking 6, 7, 8 deals a year. Right. Man, and if they're all rentals, I mean, geez, man, you're getting up there now. That puts you at 10 plus deals. That puts you starting to get into the $20,000, $30,000 extra a year range.
Yeah.
Not including all the equity that you're going to have in them, right? So at what point do you decide to go from the little greenhouses to the apartment?
I haven't thought about it yet, actually.
That's Monopoly 101, man.
That's it. I can't say that I haven't looked at some of them.
Right.
We've looked at some trashy ones.
Oh, yeah. I looked at the same one, I think.
Yeah. So, but yeah, right now we're just going to take it one at a
Just
time.
keep doing what you're doing because it's working.
Yep.
Right. So just keep plugging away at it, keep stacking them. You know, there was a wise man once said that if you buy a house every year for 30 years, then the last 30 years they'll all be free and clear.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
But I'm just saying, if you think about that, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you're like me. I ain't trying to wait 60 years.
No,
but the philosophy behind
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Because the house I buy in year 1 will be free and clear in 30 years. The house I buy in year 2 will be free and clear in 31 years. You follow me?
Yeah, I got you.
So that's why they're saying. So if you got 30 $150,000 houses, I mean, do the math on that, right? What's 150,000 times 30? You'd have $4.5 million in assets. And that's not even saying over the next 6 years they don't go up in value, right? That's just saying right now. And that was his philosophy. He was like, just buy one house every year. He's like, in 60 years, you'll be a millionaire.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, wait a minute. 60 years, I'm going to be 100 plus years old. It'd be something nice to leave
Get
my
caught
kids,
up,
right? Yeah, I better get caught. Oh, I'm good. Already. I'm good already. Well, here's some important questions. Let's talk about what you're seeing out there. What are you seeing with the market? Competition, competitiveness, like what are you seeing out there?
Everybody and their mom wants to do real estate right now. So,
Absolutely.
So the market's hot, and that we're getting deals all the time. So many deals are coming in.
Yeah.
And
So even though it's hot, you're still looking at deals daily.
daily.
Awesome, man.
Daily. So
And you're not even spending thousands of dollars a month on marketing.
Yeah.
That's even better.
I actually feel like I'm being lazy on marketing.
Well, you are, but you don't need to right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you wanted to take what you had and put it on steroids, yeah, dump $3,000 to $4,000 in marketing.
Yeah.
Watch what happens. You know what I mean? But you need to be ready for that. You know what I mean? Like you're working. You might actually have a lost leader by doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but it is what it is. How do you feel about the market and the competition?
I'm not worried about it. I want everybody to succeed, and I've said that a million times.
Yeah,
I want to see the people that I'm hanging out with, the people I'm networking.
Right.
If I can't do a deal, I want to get it to them.
Yeah.
I want to see them doing deals.
Very
I'm
true.
always tagging people on Facebook. Jason, Andrew, Vicky,
Yeah.
look at all this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're looking at some land right now with some other people.
Yeah.
I know. That was like a student of mine came to me with this apartment complex. And as he started telling me about it, I said, oh, man, I know this. I was like 3 months ago, the guy brought it to me. And I asked him if he had taken it to anybody else. And he said, no. And I said, well, get me the numbers on it. I said, I never heard back from him. And now here you are sitting in front of me with the same deal.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, are you mad? I'm like, no. Like you just said, if I'm not going to do it, I'd much rather you do it than somebody I don't know. At least I know it's in the family.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great, man. All right, so Wyatt, lots of new people will be watching this show. A lot of new people have fear. A lot of new people are uncertain. A lot of new people don't pull the trigger because things hold them back. what's some advice if I was a new person sitting in front of you right now and I was saying, yeah, I know, but, what's something you would tell me to help me get started?
So something that really helped me put it into perspective is the people at my plant that are, 60, 70 years old talking about how they can't retire or how they're fixing to retire, but they want to work a little bit longer just to, look
Get a little extra.
Look at that. That is actually, since I've started doing this, scary to me.
Yeah.
So do you want to do this the rest of your life? Do you want to do whatever it is that you're doing? Do you want to listen to the boss the rest of your life, or do you want to be the boss?
Yeah.
And
the reality is most of the people that are working process type positions, plant type positions, it's all redundant or repetitive, and there's not a lot of room for growth or creativity, right? Mm-hmm. Like people that have very creative jobs, it's a little different in their world, right? Because they get to be something that they want to be, unlike coming in doing the same thing over and over and over again, right? Mm-hmm. So I hear you on that, man. Well, that's great advice. It's like, do you want to be that person? Do you want to be that 58-year-old man looking at that plant going, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna work a few more years and then I'm out of here, right? Here's something I always like to say. I look at, and I heard this from someone, I forget, but it was, how long do you expect to live? Well, I've always said, if I live to 80, I've lived a great life. That's just my number, right? Yeah. I mean, my dad's about to hit 80, and we'll see if he makes it past 80. By golly, I'm going to make it past 80. You know what I mean? But I've just always said 80, right? That's been my number. Look, if you're watching this and you're like 79, then that's not your number, okay?
I love all of those people I was talking about. I just want you to know I've had this conversation with some of them.
And that's good for you. Right. So here was something that somebody said to me, and it slapped me dead in the face. And now I was I think it was about 35 or 36 at the time. And they said, Zach, how long do you expect to live? And I said, well, if I live to 80, that's a great life. I'd be happy with that life. And they said, okay, now how old are you now? I'm 35. They said, okay, you got 45 more summers. What are you going to do with them?
Man.
It hit me like a brick wall, right? 45 summers, that's it. That's all I got. You're right. Now, if I'm going to live to 80, I got 38 summers left. You with me?
That's crazy.
You with me?
That's scary.
That's a powerful statement, right? Like, what am I going to do over 38 summers? What are my bucket lists? My bucket list got more than 38 things on it. Look, I still want to do a triathlon. I better get in a hurry. I got a lot of practice ahead of me on that one. So, anyways, man, I've enjoyed having you on here. I'm going to hit you with some fire questions. You ready?
All right.
We call these the hot fire questions. Here we go, man. What's your favorite vacation?
The mountains.
All day long.
I'll stay in there. Home, right? I'll stay in the mountains.
And I'm pretty fortunate. My kids love the mountains. Like, I'll say, you want to go to the beach or the mountains? Mountains. Like, I'm all about that.
My wife loves the beach. And so we have to swap up every year.
I'm not a big fan of the heat and the sand. No. All right. What's your favorite automobile?
69 C10.
Oh, now
had
we're
like 3 of them.
You've had 3 of them?
Yeah, family's had 3 of them. I've had one of the 3.
So you don't have it anymore?
No, that was my first truck. 3 speed on the tree.
You know what my first automobile was? A 1972 Gremlin. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, it's ugly.
Oh, no. People confuse it with a Pinto, but I'm like, no, it's shorter on the butt.
It's worse.
Yeah, it's a lot worse. And it was neon green, like the color of the green button right there.
That's how they knew you had money.
Right. And it had gate hinges for the hood.
Yes.
Like, it was so old school, man. It was so old school. All right, what's your favorite season or holiday?
Winter.
Winter.
Yeah.
Okay. Guess why you got
give me the
beard,
snow.
You're good like that. Best podcast you've ever listened
to? So I listen to a lot of Bigger Pockets.
Okay.
I like to, listen to other people's stories.
Other people's stories, yeah. Your next one will be Coffee with Closers.
That'll be it.
Favorite food?
Pizza.
Pizza.
All day.
Early to rise or sleep in?
I wake up at 4 a.m. every
4
morning.
a.m. Man, lots of successful people are like that, you know? They're early up, man. So I'm going to assume you're early to bed then.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
And early to the couch.
Early to the couch. Then you get the, honey, let's go to bed.
Yeah. That's it.
I hear you. Favorite book?
So I listen to more podcasts than I do books.
Okay.
I like the Burr book by Mr. Green.
Yeah,
So-
I know which one you're talking about. All right, well, what's your favorite movie?
Man, that's a good one. I don't know.
You don't have a favorite movie?
Movies, man.
You didn't grow up watching a favorite movie?
Dazed and Confused.
Dazed and Confused.
All day.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I
love
love
that question because it definitely helps me understand the person I'm talking to.
Sorry, Mom.
Oh, that was a classic movie, though.
I
man.
love it.
So here, I'll tell you, my favorite movie was Cocktails
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
with Tom Cruise. Man,
I'm going to go
Yeah.
watch that now.
it's a classic. It really is. So, man, Wyatt, thanks for being on the show, man. I
Thank you for
appreciate
having
having
me.
you here and sharing all the stuff and getting a little deep with everybody. Hey, everyone. So here's the deal. You know, if you're new or if you're out there getting started, it doesn't take money. It doesn't take a whole bunch of marketing. You just got to go out and do it. You got to get the knowledge. You got to apply the knowledge. You got to use it. So you heard it here on the Coffee with Closers show. And this is Zack Attack. And I'm out. I'll see ya.